Hello and Assalamualaikum. My name is IMRAN bin NAHAR and my partner is SITI Shamira binti Shahrul. As for our final project, we'll be talking about the pharmaceutical industry, and the companies are Top Glove Corporation, BERHAD, and Apex Healthcare BERHAD. First of all, let's talk about Top Glove Corporation BERHAD background. The company is the world's largest rubber glove manufacturer, and it was established in the year 1991. And now the company has facility in 46 locations all over the world, such as Thailand, China, Brazil, and Germany, which they have about 20,000 employees. Furthermore, the company founder and CEO is Tan Sri Dr. Lim Wee Chai. Top Glove Corporation principal activities has glove lines such as latex and surgical gloves, face masks, sexual wellness needs such as condoms, dental care, and also rubber material medical equipment. In addition, the listing code for Top Glove Corporation Berhad at Bursa Malaysia is 7113, and the company is listed under the healthcare industry under the sub-industry of healthcare equipment. As for the company development, the company has an increase in stock price due to the pandemic. Moreover, the company has donated 1 million ringgit worth of medical equipment to the Malaysian frontliners. That was 3 million pairs of rubber gloves. The company was also awarded by AIA for having the healthiest workplace. Lastly, in 2012, the company has acquired Epsilon Berhad, which makes them the largest rubber glove manufacturer in the world. Next is the company SWOT analysis. The first is strength, which the company has a wide range of products which they have more than one type of rubber gloves such as surgical and natural gloves. The company is the global market leader and they have high quality products. The second is weakness, and one of them is the currency exposure, as the different currency used in the production cost and sales transaction will affect the final sales transactions. Another weakness is the worker facility. As for the opportunities, the first thing is the global pandemic, which has increased the demand for rubber gloves. Next is the company had received big support from the government agencies. Another opportunity is the natural gas subsidy. The last is threat, which one of the is the rubber glove demand has been decreasing gradually due to the slowdown on the pandemic. And other threats is related price has increased and also social perception.
Next, I'll be explaining about the Apex Healthcare Berhad background. They are actually a pharmaceutical product manufacturer established in 1962 in Malacca, Malaysia. There are 4 locations in ASEAN, such as Singapore, Vietnam, and also Indonesia. The CEO is Dr. Kee Kek Chin, and the principal activities of Apex Healthcare includes manufacturing, distribution, researching, and also logistics of pharmaceutical products such as tablets and also surgical equipment. The listing code in Bursa Malaysia is 7090, and the industry is healthcare under the sub-industry pharmaceuticals. The company development for Apex Healthcare Berhad in 2020 is the distribution of COVID-19 vaccine, which has piqued many interests of many investors, making investors invest in Apex Healthcare. Hence, there is increase in the share prices. Moreover, they are also producing respiratory equipment in response to the COVID-19 pandemic. Then, they also in 2019 has launched the new online retail store where they will sell their products in the e-commerce platform. They also have partnership with several hospitals and also pharmacies to sell their products, such as their Sipa Sol Patterson, one of the subsidiaries products for Apex Healthcare Berhad. Next is the SWOT analysis. Starting off with the strength, the first strength is the cough mixture specialist. Apex Healthcare is actually one of the best cough mixture specialists in Malaysia, and a lot of hospitals and pharmacies are using and selling their products. Next, the channel of activities of this company is very efficient, as they have their own channel of activities such as manufacturing, research and development, and also logistics. And everything is efficiently done in one group. And also the high barriers of entry has become a strength for Apex Healthcare. Moving on to the weakness. First is stiff pricing competition, meaning that Apex Healthcare is unable to control the prices of pharmaceutical in the market, as they can only sell at the minimum price. And also brand differentiation, as a lot of drugs have similar functions and brand loyalty is not big enough for Apex Healthcare. As for the opportunities, Apex Healthcare should leverage their patent and for their cough mixtures formulation to avoid people stealing their formulation. And next, they should also expand the product line beyond what they have right now, such as producing face masks. Moreover, government policies can also become an opportunity for Apex Healthcare. And lastly, for the threats, the first one is counterfeit drugs. A lot of counterfeit drugs will actually tarnish the reputation of Apex Healthcare, as they are using the brand of Apex Healthcare, but they are not actually the genuine product, making consumers confused. And lastly, foreign regulatory might also affect the exports of Apex Healthcare Berhad's products and making them unable to make profit after the export if the products are not under the criteria of the four regulatory. Next, I will expand on the single asset analysis, starting with the share price. As for Top Glove Corporation Berhad, the beginning price is at 2017 is 96 cents, and into 2020, the ending price has increased to a whopping 5.37 cents due to COVID-19. Moreover, in the span of 3 years, we see that the share prices experience several fluctuations with uncertainty in its prices. As for Apex Healthcare Berhad, in 2017, the beginning price is 1 ringgit and 14 cents, and ending price in 2020 is 2 ringgit and 80 cents. And in contrast to Top Glove Corporation, Apex Healthcare has a more stable price fluctuation in their share prices. Now moving on to HPR. The highest HPR for Top Glove Corporation Berhad is 1.1693 and the lowest at 0.9005. And moreover, the price of the share prices and the HPR rapidly changes due to the COVID-19, as every day the share prices changes a lot. As for Apex Healthcare, the highest HPR is at 1.076 and the lowest at 0.945. And the price change is more stable as the price does not fluctuate a lot and the share prices every day does not change too drastically. As for the HPY, it is the same as the HPR, where the highest and the lowest will be on the same period. The highest is at 0.193 and the lowest is at negative 0.2475 for Top Glove Corporation Berhad, and the total HPY is 1.9435. As for Apex Healthcare, the highest HPY is 0.0706 and the lowest is negative 0.0955. The total is 1.0093 and it is in line with the HPR. The HPY shows that Top Glove is more favorable as the HPY is higher, hence investors can have more profit to their investment. Next, moving on to the arithmetic mean, which is the expected return for the investor. So, as for Top Glove Corporation Berhad, investors will receive 0.29% of expected return if they invest in the company. As for Apex Healthcare, investors will receive 0.15% profit or return if they invest in Apex Healthcare Berhad. Hence, showing that Top Glove Corporation Berhad is actually having a higher expected return compared to Apex Healthcare. As for standard deviation, Top Glove Corporation Berhad actually has a higher standard deviation of 0.0255 compared to Apex Healthcare at 0.0181. This shows that Apex Healthcare has a lower risk attached to its investment compared to Top Glove Corporation Berhad, as the risk for Top Glove Corporation Berhad investment is higher. And lastly, for coefficient of variation, both actually shows a very high risk in their investment as they are more than one at 8.8417 for Top Glove and 12.0980 for Apex Healthcare, showing that both companies have high risk attached to its investment. However, Top Glove showing a lower CV, meaning that despite having a high risk, they can also have a high expected return, meaning Top Glove Corporation Berhad is very suited for those who are risk takers, and Apex Healthcare suited for those who are risk averse.
Let us move on to the portfolio analysis of Top Glove and Apex Healthcare. First is the expected return, where it has a positive value with the highest at 0.2884 and lowest at 0.1497. As the weightage of Top Glove increases, the expected return also increases, showing that Top Glove is more profitable. All of the weightage shows a positive expected return. The expected return in the portfolio is positive for the investor to invest, which is good as they would not suffer any loss from it. Second is standard deviation, which the portfolio highest is at 2.5496 and lowest at 1.615. When the weightage of Top Glove increases, so does the standard deviation. The lower the standard deviation, the lower the risk of investment. And the volatility is not that high when doing a portfolio of 30-70. Risk can be diverse by investing in the portfolio. Thirdly is RR Kappa. This model used to identify and find the relationship between expected return and risk, prominently in the systematic risk with time value of money. The value is negative at highest at negative 178.4338 and lowest at negative 152.8640 with highest of Top Glove weightage and lowest at Apex weightage. It is considered to be overvalued, and this will make returns lower because of higher risk. From the overvalued asset comes with some drawbacks, such as higher tendency to decline. Lastly is RRAPT, which examines multiple number of macroeconomic variables that will reflect on the systematic risk. We have identified that APT is higher than risk market, which is the EM of KLCI. The value is negative 1.3726 and has a negative relationship. It's anticipated to anticipate a loss and investors are encouraged to sell the stocks. It is recommended for an investor to not invest in any of the portfolios as the RR CAPM and RR APT has indicated a negative return and a potential loss to the investor. This finding also suggests that risk associated with the portfolio is high. Economic analysis in fundamental analysis can be defined as it focuses on the economic data as to assess the current and future growth of the economy. GDP is the monetary value of a country, finished goods and service of 1 year, which indicates the economic performance of a country. GDP in 2019 was at 364.702 billion US dollars, an increase of 4.33%. The previous year, 2018, the GDP was at $358.582 billion with a growth rate of 4.74%. Continuing with the GDP of Malaysia, which affects Top Glove Corporation BERHAD indirectly because a country GDP bring effect to companies and businesses. We see a positive relationship between GDP and revenue of companies. Top Glove 2019 revenue has increased by 13.8% more than last year, which amounted 4.8 billion ringgit, and Apex Healthcare at 688.78 million ringgit, which is about 5.54% increase. COVID-19 has brought opportunities to the pharmaceutical companies to make profits, such as increase in investor of the healthcare market, which contributes to high share price of healthcare companies. The companies that are under the healthcare industry, such as Top Glove Corporation BERHAD and Apex Healthcare BERHAD, is performing well due to the high demand of its product. Share prices of Apex Healthcare has increased by 26.06% and Top Glove Corporation has increased by 20.61%. Moving to the industry analysis, the Porter 5 Forces model is used to determine the performance of the healthcare industry. Starting with the bargaining power of supplier, it is considered to be high as both Top Glove and Apex rely on suppliers who are supplying similar materials to other competitors. Hence, demand on the healthcare product from them are significantly higher due to the pandemic, which has caused a shortage on the supply, and also many companies or businesses are getting into the market as it can make profit for them, but consequently it disrupts the flow of supply for the existing companies. Secondly, is the bargaining power of customer, as for now, due to the pandemic, which skyrocketed the demand on medical products. This means that customers like hospital, frontliners, government and medicine personnel require more healthcare products. Hence, bargaining power of customers has increased and both companies have to cater to this demand of customers. Thirdly is high competitive rivalry. The power of a company on how strong a company is in the industry can be assessed by the number of competitors and also the number of equivalent products and services that they provide. Apex Healthcare BERHAD and Top Glove Corporation BERHAD has a lot of competitors in the industry due to the COVID-19. But as we can see, for Top Glove Corporation BERHAD, even with many competitors in the industry, it still remains the number one in the industry. Furthermore, as is threatened of substitution, Apex Healthcare BERHAD as they are producing many medicine that other companies are producing as well. Top Glove also may face issues as other manufacturers are producing glove as well. Though the brand differentiation has increased the threat of substitution. Last is potential of new entrants, which is high as the demand and profit of the healthcare industry is ideal for any competitors and investors to enter, as it is very profitable. Because of this, the existing companies such as Apex Healthcare and Top Glove Corporation is having a surge of new competitors in the market, thus they need to outperform themselves.
Moving on to the company analysis. For the internal liquidity ratio, for Top Glove Corporation BERHAD, we see that liquidity has been decreasing every year, with Top Glove having a current ratio of 0.97. They are also unable to meet short-term obligation with cash, as the quick ratio and also cash ratio shows a value below of 1. The cash conversion cycle has also increased in 2019, showing that they are taking more time to generate cash with the existing cash. For Apex Healthcare Berhad, we see an improvement in the liquidity, as the liquidity has been increasing at 2.88 in 2019 for their current ratio. However, they have high receivable turnover, meaning that they receive their receivables at a longer rate. And they also have a decrease in inventory turnover, meaning that they generate lower sales. For the operating efficiency ratio, both companies are seen to be most efficient in 2017, with sales generated from assets for both companies is in 2017, while for equity is 2019 for Top Glove and 2017 for Apex Healthcare. As for the profitability ratio, we see that both companies is most profitable in 2018, with the highest return on capital and also highest return on equity, and also total asset turnover for both companies is highest in 2018, and actually the profitability has been decreasing for 2019. As for balance sheet ratio, the company Top Glove company is actually a leveraged company in 2018 and 2019, and a conservative company in 2017. However, we can say that Top Glove actually uses a lot of debt to finance its capital. In contrast, Apex Healthcare is a conservative company, as the value of its debt to equity ratio is below than 1, and they use less debt to finance the company and use more other sources of income to finance their company. As for the earnings and cash flow ratio, both companies are able to cover the interest using their cash flow, and also the interest coverage has been decreasing over the past 3 years of the analysis, as the interest prices has been increasing, and they are also both are able to cover long-term debt using the cash flow that they have. Next section is the technical analysis. Starting off with Top Glove Corporation Berhad, the candlestick exhibits a bullish market for 2020, but we see a predominantly bearish market for 2019 and 2017. We see a sudden increase of price in 2020 due to COVID-19. The MA line, or the moving average line, shows to be changing either to a downward or upward trend, depending on the candlestick trend, such as bullish or bearish. At most times, the MA line indicates an oversold in certain periods where it was over the candlestick. Moreover, the RSI, or the Relative Strength Index, is at 46.4172, showing that the stock is neither overvalued or undervalued by the investors for the period of 3 years. The highest RSI value is at 86.1014 in 2018, showing that investors during this period has overvalued the stock, hence oversold the stock of Top Glove Corporation Berhad. Moving on to Apex Healthcare Berhad, the candlestick shows a more stable increase, a more stable bullish market compared to the Top Glove Corporation Berhad, and however, it sees another bearish market in 2019. We see that the MA line is predominantly showing an upward or bullish trend, except for the year 2019, as it shows a downward trend. In 2020, the support level is very strong at RM2.30 for 3 consecutive months. The RSI is at 64.1682, meaning that the stock is neither overvalued or undervalued by the investors. And the highest RSI value is at 86.5683 in 2017, showing that investors in 2017 has overvalued and oversold Apex Healthcare stock.
As for the recommendation, the first recommendation is to invest in the healthcare industry, as it is very profitable for investors as for now. Top Glove is one of the most profitable company to invest in, and investor can take advantage and maximize their profits. Investors are recommended to take a single asset investment as opposed to a portfolio. The second recommendation is Top Glove should increase capabilities to settle short-term obligations, as their liquidity is very low and they are unable to settle debt using cash. The third recommendation is Apex Healthcare should increase profitability and receivables, as they take a long time to collect their debt. Lastly is both companies should maintain performance in stock market and attract more investors and increase the performance of the company to provide more profit to the existing investors.
To conclude this presentation, we would like to recommend investors to take up upon the single asset investment for Top Glove Corporation Berhad, as they have a high expected return with high risk, which is suitable for the risk taker investors. Moreover, the portfolio of both companies is deemed to be unfavorable to investors, as it is not profitable and has a high risk attached to it due to negative CAPM and also negative APT. Moreover, the share prices has been increasing for both companies due to COVID-19, and a lot of investors has been investing in both companies. Hence, contributing to the spike of prices. And lastly, financial performance of both companies can be improved in terms of liquidity and also profitability. That is all from us. Thank you for watching.